Well, ventilation is extremely important to ensure that you don't develop a heat pocket over the sauna heater. Because if you've got a heat pocket there, you're going to have a lot hotter space right there. Whereas on the opposite side of the room, it could be a lot cooler. It could be as much as 40 degrees difference from one side to the other.
That'll keep for the circular airflow. We don't want a negative airflow. So, again, all of the sauna heaters that we sell are radiant heat, which just means the heat's staying at the heater. If there is no ventilation or airflow, it's just going to sit at the heater. A lot of times pop the high limit switch. Did a series of videos for you based on our most asked questions about all things sauna. Welcome to the Lower Bench. On this episode of the Lower Bench, we will be discussing the 6 steps needed to install your custom Cedro sauna. Let's jump right into it. The first thing you will need to know when you are designing or deciding on a Cedro custom sauna will be the dimensions, the interior dimensions. Let's say you have a closet you don't use, you want to turn it into a sauna. What do? First, you give us a call, or you can go ahead. One, you would take the drywall out, give us the dimensions from the stud to stud, length, width, and height of that room. On the discussion of height, that leads us to number 2. What's the ideal sauna height? Ideal sauna height would be 7 foot. However, you don't have to be 7 foot tall. If you need to go 8 foot, that's okay as well. The reason is the heat works from the top down. The higher the ceiling, that's where the heat's gonna be. How you compensate for that? 1, heater sizing. 2, bench location. We can make the benches higher depending on the size of the sauna to get you to the heat. So 7 foot is not a have to. It's ideal, but we can always work around it. All right, so Tony, now that they know their dimension of the room and their ceiling height, the width and depth, what's the next thing that they need to know?
They need to know about the insulation, because we don't provide that with our sauna kit, so that's something that you as a customer would need to provide for your sauna room. We recommend using faced or unfaced batt fiberglass insulation. You want to do R11 or greater for your walls, and you want to do R13 or greater for the ceiling. If you've got the room for it, R30 would be great for the ceiling. If fiberglass isn't the best option for you, you can also use rock wool or cellulose. Just be sure to stay away from the spray foam. You don't want any off-gassing in your sauna room. And on the subject of benching, as Brian mentioned earlier, if you raise the ceiling up, the heat will stick to the ceiling and then come down. So let's move on to benching, Brian.
Yeah. In the Cedro saunas, in the custom Cedro saunas, we offer a number of different benching styles. Besides the wood, which we have other videos about the sauna wood, but as far as the benching style, we have floating benches where there's nothing underneath the benches. It's basically held on with wall cleats on the wall. We also have them with the box supports with the skirting in the front, which is more of a traditional style sauna look you see in a lot of saunas out there. The other we need to know as far as bench, do you want it with a return bench or an L bench where you can have more seating? Or do you want your sauna with less seating where you may want to do hot yoga or stretching? Those are, since it's a custom sauna, we can do whatever you want us to do. So again, it's going to be, once you know your interior dimensions, you understand the insulation, we understand the benching. Now that we've gone over the dimensions, we've gone over insulation, we've gone over ceiling height, now we need to talk about number 5, which is door location. So Caleb, how do you talk to customers about door location for their sauna?
So door location, it's very important. This is going to dictate kind of your benching layout, where the heater goes. My personal opinion, the best door location's in the middle, because you can put the heater on one side of the door. If you have a larger room, on the other side you can have a nice, potentially 2-tier L-shaped bench. But that's most important for the orientation with your benching, is the door location. So this kind of impacts the overall layout of the room.
Now, it's important to note that we can build it to any door location. So you're right, the middle is the best. It gives you more options. But if you can't, for whatever reason for your design, that's fine. If a door needs to be on one end or the other, since we build these kits custom here in Cookeville, Tennessee, we can build to your specifications. And while we're talking about sauna doors, whatever door you decide for your sauna, we will give you the rough opening dimensions. What is that? That's basically the size your contractor or you will frame that door opening out to fit your sauna door. Moving on to our final point for this episode is going to be ventilation. Why is ventilation important?
Well, ventilation is extremely important to ensure that you don't develop a heat pocket over the sauna heater. Because if you've got a heat pocket there, you're going to have a lot hotter space right there, whereas on the opposite side of the room, it could be a lot cooler. It could be as much as 40 degrees difference from one side to the other. So you want to have that proper ventilation. And what that means is you need an intake grill that will be positioned down below the heater, right near the bottom, near the floor. That's going to always be open. That's going to allow fresh air to come into the room. You do not need this to be any type of mechanical venting. It can just be simply a vent box to allow fresh air into the room. And then you want your exhaust louver to be placed somewhere on the opposite side of the room. You can place that anywhere from right above the lower bench all the way up to ceiling height. It's totally your preference on that. You just want to have that louver open typically about 1 to 2 inches when you're using the sauna. If you want to keep the louver closed while it's heating up, you're welcome to do that, but ideally you want to have a little bit of airflow, so you leave that 1 to 2 inches open. And you just want to make sure that you have access to those vents. So you want to be able to position them to where you can actually have airflow coming through. So it's not like in a cabinet or something like that. You want good airflow. The other thing I do want to mention is that the ventilation will not impact the temperature in the adjacent room that you're venting out to. A lot of people think that that's going to be an issue. It is not. We've designed thousands of saunas, and we've never had any issue where we've noticed a temperature change in a adjacent room. So you also do not want to vent outside the house. You want the climate to be controlled. So if this is an interior sauna, you want to make sure that you're venting into an adjacent room and not externally out of the house.
That'll keep for the circular airflow. We don't want a negative airflow. So, I mean, again, all of the sauna heaters that we sell are radiant heat, which just means the heat's staying at the heater. If there is no ventilation or airflow, it's just going to sit at the heater. A lot of times pop the high limit switch.
You know, because some people have to put it on the left or right wall. If the heater's on the front wall and they can't do the back wall.
Here's my thinking. I'm afraid because there's a lot of debate on where to put vents.
Yeah, that's why I kind of left it open.
Europe says lower.
I heard that. Some say lower, some say higher. And like I tell people, I never get in the argument with them. I tell them, listen, if you have a vent, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just tell them intake vent's the most important.
At the end of the day, you have venting, I'm happy. That's, you know, I would rather you have maybe what we would consider wrong venting than no venting.
If there's absolutely no possibility to add venting, which sometimes is the case, then you want to get a door with a gap on the bottom for an air gap.
Raise your door up a little bit. Yeah. I mean, because over and over we hear from people who call non-ventilated saunas that are having issues.
We understand some people can't vent in specific locations.
Yeah.
I have a guy that can't do the back wall because it's like concrete. No, he doesn't want to do that.
Sometimes you have to put the vent on both vents on the front wall.
Yeah.
Just because there's no options.
So we understand that sometimes you can't vent, say on the back wall or certain walls because they may be concrete, cinder block or whatnot. Exterior. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, my opinion, I think the intake vent is the most important. So you need that as close to the heater as you can. If you can't do it underneath it, just get as close as you can. The exhaust vent, if you can't do the direct opposite wall, say it's a back wall, it's concrete or something, then you can do one of the side walls. There's a lot of different information about venting. Nobody's to say who's right, who's wrong. As long as you have venting, that's what's most important about a sauna. Some venting is better than no venting.
Anything is better than nothing.
Right.
These are made to breathe. They need to breathe.
And hey, here's a pro tip. If you got the benefit of framing out your room, then it's always recommended to go to a full foot mark on your space. That way you're maximizing the material you get, because anything over the foot is considered waste material. So when we're looking at pricing, we always round up to the next foot. So if you can, go with even foot markers on your sauna. That'll maximize the value or the bang for your buck. Another thing I want to mention is when it comes to ceiling height. If you've got an 8-foot ceiling, the temperature at head level is about 20 degrees cooler than it is if you've got a 7-foot ceiling. So you're either going to want to raise the benching up, or you could go with like a Hume heater that gets up to 220, 230. You'll be around the same as the top mark on a Harvia there. So I'd recommend either going with a Hume or raising your benching up if you got 8-foot ceiling height.
So to recap, for preparation tips for your custom Cedro sauna, number 1, interior dimensions. Number 2, ceiling height. Number 3, insulation. Number 4, how you want to design your benching. Number 5, door location. And finally, number 6, ventilation.
As far as our custom Cedro, all of these kits are for interior wood and benching only. You will provide the framework, the exterior, anything, whether it's sheetrock or whatever. Our kits, we will quote for everything for the interior and the door. Now, we do have exterior wood available that we can quote to match your interior. Everyone's different. Some people just want to match everything else in their home. But if you do want wood, we can quote that as well.
A common misconception that some people have about these Cedro saunas is that the flooring is going to be a full wood flooring. Typically, we're not going to provide flooring for underneath the benching because that's going to be waste material that you're typically not going to see unless you've got floating benching. So we will typically offer you premium signature sauna wood for the walkway area only. If you want flooring throughout, we do have this as an option, but that does need to be discussed. My recommendation is if you've got a nice flooring surface anyway, like a beautiful tile, that you leave some of that exposed, or if you've got like a concrete bare slab, then you may want to cover the entire flooring regardless of the type of benching you have. So just always have that discussion with us to make sure that we're getting exactly what you're looking for.
Because we can do as little or as much as you need.
Keep in mind, whatever flooring's underneath our flooring provided or that you purchase has to be waterproof as well.
Yeah, because you want to mop it.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you want some water.
Can't just put this on carpet.
Or you want to put it on hardwood.
Yeah, exactly.
You can put it on a vinyl. You can put it on tile. You can put it on sealed concrete. Just anything that you can mop.
Yeah, because it doesn't get that hot down low. That's a big misconception too.
Yeah,
Doesn't get
no,
too
the
hot down
floor
low.
of any sauna doesn't get too hot.
Only about 85, 90 degrees
Yeah.
or floor.
Exactly. So, again, it's all about being waterproof, not necessarily heat proof.
One more thing, we have a lot of customers that want to install our Cedros in basements, but they don't realize that this is not freestanding. So if you do have a large basement, you need to frame out a specific room with a door opening, ceiling height like we discussed in this video and whatnot, and just follow all these tips. Once you have the room framed out, we'll provide everything else for the interior other than the insulation and the framework. The exterior is up to you.
We've done some of the most beautiful saunas in basements
Oh yeah.
because they're wide open areas and they frame it to exactly what they
They'll put
want.
like a corner, like a
Yeah.
like have a one wall, two walls.
Absolutely, because they aren't confined to one area. They can
Exactly.
do whatever they want. We've done some.
Because I mean, on a basement, you could add furring strips, insulation between the furring strips, right? And then
We've done some beautiful ones, added cold plunges and everything else because they have this open space, but all the wood to match. Absolutely beautiful.
oh yeah.
That is a very good point. We here at the Sauna Place hope that this has helped shed some light on your custom Cedro sauna installation. And of course, if you have any questions or want to talk to a real live expert, give us a call at 931-516-6577. Or if you want to see a list of all of our Cedro options and selections, head over to saunaplace.com. Guys, if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and share this with a friend. And until next time, I'm Brian. This is Caleb and Tony. We'll see you next time on the lower bench.